Sometimes, we can feel like you want to go to a magical place on Earth. Which is really I want to go on my birthday. You know, Disneyland was the world I used to visit. It went on like 2013 December to 2016 October and finally 2021 October. To me, I had the most magical times at Disney. I always liked how it all started with a mouse. Walt Disney was the best man who created Disneyland, before he died after, when Disneyworld was made. But everybody still loved him. I did as well, since last year. When we went there for the first time, I could always feel happy around my world like time. When we went, since 2016, we just went to California Adventure after Universal Studios, which might be annoying. But soon I realized that I still had a good time. But for now I shall tell this story to you all. It was my 15th birthday. I was getting ready to have a special birthday. My cake was a red velvet cake with cotton candy bark. In the top were 15 candles and my favorite character Texas, the THX mascot. After, when my family sang their birthday melody to me with smiles, I blew my candles and wished, as follows, I wish I would go to the happiest place on earth. And then I smiled. My mom chuckled and said it was a nice wish, until she began to pull out what looked like 5 tickets to Disney World. I gasped in surprise and joy. Are you kidding me? I asked elated. Then with joy, I hugged my mom and teared up to feel proud for her. She laughed and said it was not a problem. After, when we went to bed, I still felt so happy because of this afternoon. As I slept, I dreamed something Disney-styled and magical. It was always Disney who made my dreams come true. I knew it was a good time to go tomorrow, and I did. The next day, we went on a Disney plane to Florida and had a good flight. As we went to the Disney hotel, the employees said that we will be able to stay by 4 days. I felt too excited that I interrupted one of the employees who worked in this Disney hotel that it was my birthday yesterday, and yet we are still celebrating today. After hearing that, what surprised me in joy is that the mascots of Disney came out to hug me and give me high fives. I felt so sad in joy and happiness. The day to Disney World for the first time in my birthday. Why not? I had an amazing time. The last day we went on to Magic Kingdom, everybody's favorite place to Disney World. My tears still came out to this day and I felt still happy around my soul. As I was about to ride in one of the rides, I noticed that the mascots Mickey and Minnie were acting different. They were just staring at me, as if they were acting creepy at the sort. I was confused and asked my mom to wait. As I came to the mascots I asked, "Hey guys, how are you doing on your love time here, huh?" They did not respond. Then I asked in confusion, are you okay? What's up? They still did not respond to me. Then I felt like I could clearly hear something. It's what sounded like shallow breathing coming from their mouths. And then, they hung their heads down and walked off with their employees. I was so confused at this point, as the mascots now acted normal. It was then I realized that it was a weird imagination. It maybe is. I still had a good time until things got weird again this afternoon. It was the same mascots again. But before I saw them, I went on a few rides and had things to eat. That's when it got scary. When I saw Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, Pluto, and Daisy, they were standing by a sad child who was acting depressed. I was confused and was wanting to ask the child if she was okay or not, but I was not allowed to talk to strangers, so I left the child be. Then the mascots all surrounded the sad child and moved their heads to him. Which then, as I looked away from them, I could not hear anything. But when I suddenly looked back to them, they were just staring at me, cocking their heads and had blood in their stained mouths. I was frightened at this point and realized that, when I saw the mascots, they were just taking photos with happy children and proud adults. I still wanted to have a good time, so I did. But that night was the most horrifying part of this last day at Disney World. After the fireworks celebration, I went to give the Mascots goodbye and went with my 4 members of my family back inside the hotel. We then went into our beds and got to sleep by 9:30. But now it's time to tell you the most important part of this horrifying story. I was about to go to sleep when I heard some chuckling and shallow breathing loudly from outside. My family were not awake, so I checked out to where the sound was coming from. But as I looked down, I saw something that made me get all the chills maybe to my spine. It was a man in a silhouette cocking his head staring at me with a dark smile. I was so confused when I saw him. "Hey, are you supposed to be going to bed?" I asked confusedly mad. He then slowly responded by putting his hand behind his back and showed me a plush silhouette of a classic Mickey Mouse. I was so scared at this point and began to ask, "Hey, please go away. I'm trying to," but before I could say anything, the plush that the man held was thrown to my hands in perfect timing. I was so not proud for what he meant aside, until I noticed the plush's face startling me to fall on the floor in fear. What I saw was horrifying. The face of the Mickey Mouse plush had no eyes, it had a gaping mouth revealing blood. It was all burned and it was smiling widely. I was about to throw it to a garbage so that my mom cannot see it. But when I got back to the window, the man was gone. But what I did see, when I went to my bed in horror, were all the characters from Disney looking at me from outside. After, for about 10 seconds of silence, they began to laugh, scream, and cry, while twitching violently. I was so scared that, when I heard the sounds, I began to shut my ears tight in anger. It then got louder at this point. I tried to keep myself to not release my blood. But soon enough, as I opened my ears, it stopped, for about 15 seconds. Until I heard Mickey's voice in a demonic tone connecting to Minnie, Donald, and Goofy's voice.
What the hell?
Then they began to cock their heads and had shallow breathing coming out, as the blood began to splatter all over me from their twitching mouths. I tried to go to sleep, but because my clothes, I began to take a shower before going to bed in a normal way, but all I can hear, while sleeping, was the laughter of the demonic-affected Mickey Mouse. I could not sleep this night. The next morning, the plush inside the trash can was gone. I looked at my confused mom and uncle. "What are you looking at, Baro?" asked my uncle. I did not say anything, until I said in a confused, scared face, I don't even remember. As we went on our way to the car, I gave the Mascots, who acted normal, their hugs before waving goodbye in a sad tone. As we went home from Florida, I hung out with my large Minnie Mouse plush by my computer for a while, before I wrote this post. That was all I had experienced at Disney World. I don't know why I got myself scared at this happy place. But I did find out that what I knew is that the Mascots have a secret that the people they love will be able to give them a fright each night only at Disney World. I would never want to see that horrifying thing ever again. But what I will remember is that I still love Disney World. But then I will find secrets whenever I would come back. Only because this place was expensive to go, I would never go. But maybe I would from Disneyland. I will never want to see that true horror of Disney ever again. Ever. In my entire freaking life. It's over.